Hello, everyone, and welcome to AI Agents Hour. It's October 2nd. We haven't done a normal show at a normal time for a long time. So normally we do this on Monday at noon Pacific, but today's Thursday, and it's still noon Pacific. But good to be back. Hopefully, going forward, we'll have back to our regular schedule. Some of the crazy traveling is over, but that's kind of what we want to talk about first.
We were gallivanting all over the world, and now we're back. Today we're in SF, the real SF, Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's what we, the real SF, as Abby says.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all believe that, right?
Yeah, this is the real SF. Also, today's sponsored by Red Bull. Cheers. It's not sponsored.
Not sponsored. We are not sponsored by Red Bull or any energy drink company yet.
Yeah, but if you want us to show your products for free, let us know.
Yeah. I mean, we do need to talk about Century. Their, gold sponsorship, or diamond sponsorship, which now means we pay them.
That was funny, though.
For those of you that didn't get the joke on X, Abby basically said we would sponsor Century for free, or we'd be so happy we'd pay you to sponsor Century.
Well, the whole thing was like Dax from Open Code was like, I'm sick of all these people shilling things on Twitter without any affiliate in their profiles and stuff. And then I just said, I'll shill Century on the live stream for free. And then David asked us, how much is a gold sponsorship? 0. So y'all should use Century.
Yeah, we do like Century. We like David.
We like Reptile.
Yeah.
We like Celsius.
Yeah, we will disclose if we're ever paid by any of these sponsors, but we just are telling you stuff that we like. And, Lawrence likes Red Bull too. So congrats. Gives you wings.
Gives us wings.
But we do want to start by just kind of recapping. So we were in Paris for AI Engineer. That was last week. And it feels like longer than that, but time is, what is time? But we do want to talk just a little bit about what did we see, what did we learn? If you're in the chat, tell us where you're from, because that's kind of cool. We have people all over the, all over the place.
Dev's in here.
Dev, yo, what's up?
Dev?
Good to see you.
Those who don't know Dev, he's prolific on, at least in my life, in terms of open source projects I've watched him in, but yeah.
Dev's more of a matcha guy.
Yeah.
Good to know. So let's talk a little bit about AI Engineer Paris. Abby, what was your takeaways? What was your thoughts? What did you think of the event? And then I'll give you my takes.
My hot take is it was too French. No, I'm just kidding. A couple things.
And then you said that, and then here's Alaric. Hello from France.
Bonsoir, monsieur.
Hopefully, Alaric, let us know if you were at AI Engineer, if you missed it this year.
So, okay. I'm also an asshole, so I'll just keep it for what it is. The Station F campus that we saw, which is like the YC of France, is beautiful. They have like crazy amenities and crazy cafeteria where we all were having fun and drinking and stuff. The conference itself, outside of Swix's talk or the keynotes, I just thought it was boring because everyone was just shilling products as their talks. And I come from the era, and I think a lot of people do, where you go to a conference to learn and like see new concepts and stuff, not to be like, hey, here's this idea, and if you buy this product, you get the idea. Like, that's not how it works. So I didn't like it from that perspective, but very well done as an event as a whole. One last thing, my brother got food poisoning from it because they had like the hors d'oeuvres, and everyone puts their hands in the hors d'oeuvres, so he got all sick. But
did he?
Yeah, unfortunately. But other than that, it was chill.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree that Station F was awesome. It's just a cool venue, cool place. I will agree that there were some sponsors, that they just had so many talks about similar topics, and they just got those talks because they paid money, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that. I didn't see that many talks though, so I can't, complain about the content too much. I thought the keynote by Swix was good. The main takeaway from that is, a lot of people have been talking about 2025 is the year of agents, right? And his argument is that it's actually going to be the decade of agents. And it's true, right? If you've been playing around with any of this stuff, you know a lot. We haven't figured out a lot of it. There's a ton more that you can do with it, a ton more that we still are all learning and improving on and trying to make better. And that's going to take a long time. So yeah, that was very cool to see. He had this diagram of like this LLM OS, which, is like, he has the LLM and you have memory and you have tools and MCP and you have all these things that connected to the LLM. But it actually was just like an architecture diagram of Mastra, it seemed
Pretty
like.
much.
So I was like, oh, well, I guess maybe we're onto something here.
Let me see if I can pull it up too.
Yeah, see if we can find that. And in dev kind of, yeah, so this is the LLM OS.
This was what was shared with us. And then to be a little jokester, when I came back and when we shared it with the company, we just did this. And that was fun.
Yeah, so it's very much close, matches closely with what we've been building. So that was always good to see that, feeling like others are seeing the same things. I would say one thing that was great about the conference was the people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you don't know what to expect. We go to a lot of stuff in SF. And so that feels like it's a little bit of a bubble. It's isolated from the rest of the world in some ways because, I don't know, everyone talks about AI all the time in SF, it seems like. But the quality of the individuals, the engineers, the developers that were there, very high, had great conversations. They're all struggling with the same things we struggle with. They have, a lot of the same ideas, a lot of great questions, a lot of good conversations. It seems like I never go a week without someone saying, like, how do you handle when your agent gets too many tool calls? That came up multiple times. Yep. It's just, so a lot of the same things that we're going to continue to figure out, I think. So if you do have the opportunity to go to an AI engineer conference, which I know that now they're having one in London, right?
In April
in London. So if you're in that area, I'd recommend going. And then of course there's been ones in New York and San Francisco.
There's a Code Summit coming. Yeah. I think Dario from Anthropic's like headliner or whatever.
I don't know if that's been announced, but I think that's
oh shit. Well, you heard it from someone else.
Yeah, nobody watches this, right?
Yeah.
Nobody share it. Maybe it has. Maybe it has been announced. I don't know, but
I won't tell you who's going to be at London. I'll tell you.
What's up, Manny?
Hey, Manny. What's up, man?
I've been seeing you all over X. Yeah. So great event. I'd highly recommend going, just to especially if you're working in this stuff often. Sometimes it's nice just to talk to other people that are going through some of the same things, figuring things out. Yeah. You learn some tips and tricks, of course. You build some relationships, and you also probably get pitched some products too. But that comes with the territory.
I'm curious what the Brits are going to pitch. Probably the same ones that they pitched in AI France. One other thing that it seemed was too many tool calls, nonstop, and happened only % of the time. Pain.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
Very true, Lawrence.
There's a new definition of big coming out. So we make fun of big eval. And I think there's a new concept coming out called big memory, because a lot of database companies are pushing memory features into there and then teaching people that you have to use this database to do memory with agents. So I think a new classification of big memory wants you to buy their products. And we'll probably see that for the rest of the year. Because in the Swix presentation, memory had a question mark, which means it's not like it's a winner take all, or it's open for everybody. So, and a lot of other things have been kind of figured out. So we'll see how that progresses from now until April.
Yeah, I do think we're already seeing a lot of those companies have, either they're repositioning or they have a product specifically for memory.
Yeah.
This is a hot take. Tool called memory's fake. All right.
Nice.
But yeah, as you can see, this is live. Imagine you had to meditate for an hour before every conversation. Yes. So as you can see, this is live. You might be watching this live on YouTube or LinkedIn or X, and so feel free to leave a comment. We'll talk about them. We'll throw it up on the screen. But you might also be listening to this later. We're on YouTube. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mastra-AI, if you have not already. Also, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So, if you do like us and you do want to give us a 5-star review, we will accept 5-star reviews. If you want to give us less than a 5-star review, please find something else to do.
Yeah,
Don't
go to find Jesus or something else.
yeah,
like,
just just build some agents. I don't know. Don't give us a review then. Yeah, Dev asks favorite talk from AI engineer outside of Swick's keynote. Yeah, I don't really know if I have any.
the Mistral one put Ward to sleep, so that just shows you how that boring that one was. But Swix was the best for sure.
Yeah, the Mr. one had some good content, but it was a little dry.
Just dry.
And yeah, Dev's gonna find AI Jesus. All right, so let's go on to the next topic of the day.
Also, Dev, you should come on the show probably in the future because that'd be a good hang.
Yeah, Dev, you're welcome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Mastra Model Routing. And do you want to give a preview what it is before I pull up the banger tweet that Tyler sent out?
Yeah. So months ago now, we were working on supporting AI SDK v5 in Mastra. The problem with that was we had a lot of people still using AI SDK v4, and we couldn't really safely tell them to, like, Mastra is a framework. We have all these primitives, and some of them are bundled together in the same version, right? So it's hard to say, hey, we're going to break this piece of the code, but then you're still using the old one. At that point, we started thinking like, okay, we should probably own a lot more of this internal infrastructure here. So we created our own agentic loop primitive that is like, you don't really worry about it. It just is under the hood. What that allowed us to do then is try other things. And one of the things we wanted to do now, having our own agentic loop, was like, can we control the models themselves? Do people have to install models from a package? Can we just do it inherently through endpoints and nvars? And we did. And so, yeah, let's play the video and
we'll play Tyler's quick little demo video.
Hey folks, so today I'm excited to share that Mastra has a new model router feature. What this allows you to do is use 600 plus models from 45 different providers without needing to install any packages. And let's look at my code to see what that looks like. So I have the weather agent here, just a basic example. You can see I just have the string OpenAI/GPT-5 mini. So normally you'd have to install the OpenAI package, import it, configure it, and all that. But you don't have to do that anymore. So the nice thing is you get TypeScript autocomplete for all the different models and providers you can use. So you can sort of use it as a search to see what you could try. So if we do Anthropic, if you try the new Sonnet 4.5, it's in here, right here. Or if we wanted to search on Open Router, you can see here's a DeepSeek 3.1, or maybe you want the 3.2 version. For now, let's just do OpenAI GPT-5 mini, and we'll jump over to the playground and have a look at the changes there. So we always had this little model picker up here, but before it was sort of limited. Now when you select the provider list, there are tons of providers to choose from, and you see which ones you have API keys for. Those are the green circles, and which ones you don't, those are the red circles. Similarly, you see all the different models you can pick from, so it should allow you to very easily try different providers and models. So let's just send a message to GPT-5 mini. And then let's switch to Anthropic, and we'll do Sonnet, do the new one, Sonnet 4.5, and we'll ask for Vancouver weather.
Mic drop.
And there we go, we switch between different models. What I really love about this is the ability to kind of like explore and try different things out that I normally wouldn't try. So for example, you try Cerebras and like the Quen 3 coder model. I've been really liking this. Maybe we'll get Toronto weather. You can see that was extremely fast because it was on Cerebras. Nice thing is this little eye icon here, you click on it, you'll get the documentation for each of the providers. So you can see the Google Docs here, and really any of these. And yeah, We're hoping that this will make it a lot easier for you to try different models and use them in your Mastra project. Upgrade to the latest Mastra is 0.19 or higher, and you'll have access to this.
Dang, weekly downloads are fucking nice last week too.
Yeah, it's even more if you go today.
Ooh.
So yeah, and to kind of highlight the features, right? You have this complete, nice autocomplete from thanks to TypeScript in your model selector. You have the nice UI in the playground to make it really easy. And Netlify just also announced that they have a new AI gateway, so we have day one support for that as of yesterday. So definitely a big feature for us. There are some caveats to it. It doesn't support every single model provider feature, but the nice thing is if you've used Mastra for a while, that we work really well with AI SDK, so you can just use the AI SDK provider. If you did need some specific feature, but for most use cases, this is just going to work out of the box. So there's a good question. How are API keys managed? So in this case, you manage the API keys like just in your environment variables. So it basically tells you what the environment variable needs to be. If you don't want to manage a bunch of keys, then you can use things like OpenRouter and some of the other gateways. And then you just need the one API key to get all the providers, which is why we kind of support both, right? We have the, kind of other routers. So we kind of think of this as almost like a model router in a way, because it supports the other routers or the other gateways. And then, or you can go directly to the provider if you want to manage all the keys yourself. So great question though.
We always do the meta thing, which is a model router. So
yeah, and Brad's comment, very much what we were just kind of saying, Vercel API gateway is primarily useful for managing so many darn keys.
Yeah,
exactly. So the nice thing is you can just use the Vercel API gateway in there and then swap between all the different models that you can get through Vercel's API gateway. So that's what's really nice about it.
Yeah.
Or you can send it to Vercel's API gateway or Open Routers. And we just also announced today we have model fallbacks as well. So you can kind of like, if one of them fails, if Claude goes down, which sometimes happens, unfortunately, then you could fall back to OpenAI or something as well. So these two things together really make the whole model router feature, model fallback feature are really powerful.
How is this built? Just to throw it out there. So models.dev is a really nice website. You should go check it out. Models.dev. They have an open API, open source API that you can hit that gets all the models that they've compiled. What we did is we fetch them, we generate TypeScript types, we generate everything. So you're all good to go. And then, that's like our source of truth for the models. And then we built obviously we wrote some code to actually run them. But yeah, this is cool, but what's going to happen next is even cooler. So wait for that.
Yeah, definitely. So Manny's comment, I've had issues before, is looking for models to plug in, but I'd get an error that AI SDK didn't support it, or there was another problem. Yeah. So this should open up a lot more additional model providers as working, which is great. Dev says the model/MCP router is the new GraphQL router. Right? Yep. Yeah, very true. And then banger comment, when do we get the agent framework?
Dude, soon, probably.
Yeah. Don't give us any ideas.
Yeah, we probably will do that, honestly.
All right. And then Brad says, I want to fall back from the model host to other model host from fall to replicate, but keep the model the same. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly why you might, that way the model is the same, but maybe you go from one provider who's having some issues to the other. And the nice thing about model fallbacks is you can tell, you can configure how many times you want it to retry, and then before it falls down, you can have an array. So you could have a whole list. You could have 3. And so, of course, you're going to add extra latency as it's trying, but at least it might not fail.
Yeah.
And then I can't give you a sneak peek yet, but soon.
We're in the lab.
Could we put some simple telemetry on model switch occasion?
That's a good, when it switches or things like that. We don't have a telemetry event for it yet, but Lawrence, that's a great idea. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, and I think we do tell what model it was used in the trace, but there's no good way to to see that, but it does kind of exist, but not in probably the way you'd want yet. Yeah. And that's what we see most of the time, Lawrence, when we talk to people, is they basically, you test with one model and one provider, right? But you might want the occasion where, Claude's down or certain providers down, so you can fall back to the other one.
What would be more interesting in the future is if somehow, magically, the model gets picked based on what you're trying to do. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Now this part, it's so fortunately or unfortunately, it's been a few weeks since we really did a deep dive on all the AI news, and dang, there's been a lot.
There's a lot.
So this is going to be a longer segment, and it's normally we try to organize it, but there's just so much. It's kind of hard to organize. So we'll probably do some rapid fire. We'll show some things, but stick with us because there's quite a bit. So definitely grab your beverage of choice and tune in because there's a lot of AI news from the last 2 weeks. All right. So first, and as always, we'll give you our hot takes on it, but
we're talking mad shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
Of course. But you can give yours as well. Please use the chat. So Stripe had this announcement. This was a couple days ago. OpenAI is launching commerce in ChatGPT. So they're instant checkouts powered by Stripe. So yeah, that's cool. They're releasing an agentic commerce protocol, and then they're also launching an API for agentic payments. So Stripe's getting into the agentic payments game.
Do you think they named it ACP? Because there's already ACP from Google, but Google's just trash at everything right now in terms of not the models, but in these protocols. They have an agent. Actually, Swix was shilling ACP. It's like a agent communication protocol where different agent frameworks can talk to each other. But then now ACP is agentic commerce protocol. So when you say ACP, it's not going to mean whatever Google wants it to mean. It's going to mean this commerce thing. But the problem, it's not a problem, but this blew up the internet because I think Sam Altman was saying this is how I shop. I'm always on ChatGPT looking for things, and people are always polarized by what he says. So that was interesting.
And Dev says ACP is technically from Zed. Google collaborated with them. And Dev also ruining our, we like to save the best for last around here usually, So way to bury the lead there, Dev. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's coming, of course. Don't we couldn't have a show without that. So let's go through just a whole bunch of different things. I think I'll just probably read these off because I don't think we have time to go through all of them. So this was, I think, last week, but so DeepSeek released that they have a merged thinking, non-thinking architecture. So now they just have one model called Terminus that has thinking and non-thinking. So
seems like industry trend, right? To have a mixed model approach is what we always say. So yeah.
And then DeepSeek also some more information from DeepSeek, some more releases, introduced DeepSeek v3.2 EXP. It's our latest experimental model. And one of the biggest things, which DeepSeek was already relatively cheap in comparison, but API prices were cut by 50% plus. So there you go. DeepSeek is making some moves, but they're not the only Chinese model company making moves. Qwen had released Qwen 3 Omni. It's a 30 billion parameter model that does full multimodal. So fully multimodal model. So Qwen 3 Omni. And again, we just don't have time to go through all this stuff. So I'm just going to share it with you kind of rapid fire. But if it's of interest to you, definitely check that out. We have Qwen 3 still making more moves.
Yep.
They have Qwen 3 VL, sharper vision, deeper thought, broader action. That's their headline. Okay. It's the Qwen 3 VL series, which is a vision language model in the Qwen family. and you can see they, of course, everyone has how do they perform on the different evals, and obviously looks pretty favorable.
Yeah. I mean, we're Quen fans here.
Yeah.
This next one's interesting. Next, we have a Quen 3 guard, which is super interesting. A built-in guardrails. So this is interesting because as application developers, we have to build guardrails into the frameworks or the tools that we use, but the model itself has safety built in. Then again, dude, this is a Chinese model, so I don't know how safe it actually is, but it's pretty sick how it works. Like it can detect when we have it's like almost like two streams going on, and then one is like proxying to the other. All the safe tokens, pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was a really interesting release by them in the last couple weeks.
They've been killing it too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, all of I don't know about you, but I almost get all these Chinese model companies mixed up because there's quite a few, and they're all just shipping all the time, it seems like. So I guess that's good because most of them are open weights or open source. So that I think pushes everyone to be better. But it's good to see that there's more competition. So another, can't get away from the talking more Chinese models. GLM 4.6 from Z.ai was released, and this was just a couple days ago as well.
Yep.
So they advertise it advanced agentic reasoning and coding capabilities, and I've never used any of I never used GLM 4.5, but Tyler on our team said that he basically goes between previously GLM 4.5, Quen Coder, and Opus, right? Or either Sonnet or Opus, but typically Opus. So that's kind of puts you in the class of where it is. Obviously, he's using it for coding, so it has reasoning and other things as well. But at least previously, it was pretty good at coding. So I imagine this one's even better, right?
And the context window is bigger, which helps.
Yeah.
We have another Chinese model next. Dude, there's Chinese people shipping. Good job, y'all.
Yeah, they're making moves. All right, so
this one's sick though.
WAN Animate, Unified Character Animation Replacement. All right, this is cool. We get to watch a video.
Dang.
Wow.
Hey, Shrek.
Hi.
Whoa! Yeah! Huh?
Hey, that's not a video game, guy. Wukong.
Hi!
哦，嘿嘿，嗯。
This is wild.
Wow.
Yeah, we should like do a live stream where we're using that, and then it's just us.
It would be cool. Yeah, it would be cool if we could pull it up in a separate, so you could see,
Yeah.
like the character version and us. And I do wonder like what the latency is. I haven't tried this. If you're watching this and you have tried it, let me know. But yeah, I'm a big fan of a lot of these like image video models. So they're just fun to play with, right?
And they go viral because it's like so visceral. Like you can touch it, or it's like so visual, and it gives you visceral reaction.
VTubing will never be the same. Rip Disney animation. Yeah, dude. It is it's pretty wild. And obviously, there's more in this video space, right? That's been released in the last week. Another big
Like think about this. You know how people spend a lot doing mocap now for video games? What if you don't have to do that? You could just act and then use these models later. So you could just be like an actor, do all the acting stuff, and then boom, now you're animated.
Yeah.
Dude, a lot of people lose their jobs if they
That's just
like Brad said, RIP Disney Animation. My friend works there actually, so RIP to him too.
Yeah. They'll or they just get really good at using the tools. They can ship out
Yeah.
more, better, high quality content faster, right? But yeah, it's wild.
All the Chinese models that exist, like I think most like the layman person in AI doesn't know that these models exist. And even we don't necessarily know all of the Chinese model companies. So we were thinking like we should put together like we should just have like a segment on the show just talking about who they are, like who are the players in that space, because everyone knows who's the player here, right? In America. And in France is Mistral. I think it's the only one. But like maybe there's some other French models and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's hard for the average person to keep track of all these things, and even those that do. I know all the companies now. Finally, I think. Who knows? There'll be another one tomorrow, I'm sure. But I can't say I've tried even 20% of the models. More than a basic, does it work? Try one or two things. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, it's buttholes versus animals.
Yeah, this is a good hot take. Motion capture versus video models is like workflows versus agents.
True.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Brad says his brother-in-law works at Disney Animation. They hate AI. I wonder why.
I wonder why.
All right, so enough with Chinese models. Let's talk. It definitely would not be a live stream without talking about Cloudflare and Vercel. So we can do that. No drama today, though.
Well, there was some drama, but it's probably not appropriate to talk about.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. Although you can go find it. You can go find it easily enough. So a couple things from Cloudflare. And for those of you that are new here, we do try to just cover all kinds of things in the AI space, from providers, model providers. That's most of what we cover, but we'll even talk about companies like Replit and Lovable, and companies like Vercel and Cloudflare and Netlify, and people building in and around the AI space. Yeah. So I guess I shared this one first. So we'll start at the bottom and work our way back. Code mode is here. This is the one we're going to have the most conversation about.
This is interesting.
So what is code mode? Well, you tell me, what's code mode?
It's gonna be tough without talking shit. So
okay,
I'll be very just neutral about it. So code mode is, as opposed to having an agent with tools like in an MCP server, etc. You essentially give your agent a task, like a prompt, and then it will write the code and then execute it, as opposed to making a tool call that already has the code written. We actually saw when we were in YC, when we used to go to events all the time, we would people were experimenting with this concept. So there was a business analyst who would describe it in unstructured text, and then the agent would then write all the BI queries that they need in SQL Server, execute it, then give them the answer, which makes sense. And so this would be it will write all the TypeScript you need to achieve that prompt, execute it, and then there you go. That's what code mode is. It's pretty cool conceptually.
So it's a cool idea. Now I'll get a little spicy without being too spicy. It's kind of like what we had to do before tool calling was available, right? You'd kind of just but it opens up, potentially some more security issues. It opens up, potentially. My other question is okay, does it work better? Because I would agree that LLM tool call accuracy, especially across models, what we've found is it varies wildly.
Yeah.
Right. We have our own basically compatibility layer to try to make it better across models. But it still struggles, right? Tool calling's hard. It's not accurate.
Yeah.
But I do imagine model providers are pretty invested in making tool calling very accurate. So by releasing this now, you're basically saying you don't think the model providers are going to continue to get better. This is going to, because they're kind of built around Cloudflare's architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that bothers me about this is they say here's this new way of doing things, and it only works on this specific product that we have.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess that's Cloudflare's way of doing it. And also, I don't know that I want to see the benchmarks that actually show it's better. It might actually be, but there's no data yet to prove it. So
yeah, we asked for some just because we're curious and we're in the space, but they haven't done them yet, and I'm sure it'll be cool once they put it out, or not. You know, it may not work. But part of me thinks they're just trying to get you to use their sandbox product.
Yeah, and
Um,
Khalil still needs like a
oh, right,
sandbox. Yeah, I mean, kind of.
It
It
has
uses
to.
it runs on their whatever they call them, right?
Sandbox.
Yeah, their sandbox things. And then
If the benchmarks are good, though, every sandbox provider will have code mode. Like you'll have some code mode tool. So it could be interesting for the space, but we'll see.
All right. So here's a hot take question from your mom. Guys, is it worth joining Cloudflare as a system engineer for a year?
Or founding.
Or I think or founding engineer. I got a proposal from them.
Are you rich? Then become the founding engineer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a cool place to work.
Yeah, there's a lot of great people
yeah,
there,
you're gonna. They have good engineers, so I don't. We joke like we'll poke fun at some of these companies, but it's still a good company. It's just very tight. Like everything they do is very tied tightly and coupled to their architecture, right?
That's their mission. So
yeah, it's totally cool. Just and then Dev says, I don't think it would work better, but it will let the agent engineer be lazier. Yeah. We're in a different kind of hooks. Yeah. All right. So let's keep going.
Another Cloudflare thing.
Yeah. Some more Cloudflare. This one I thought was, it's kind of tied, I guess, a little bit to Stripe's payments, right? Cloudflare introduces their own US backed stablecoin. So now AI companies are releasing their own stablecoin.
The comments on this one are funny though.
Careful, no use effect on this one. Secure transactions for the agentic web. So, now you have companies releasing coins that, of course, like, Cloudflare is, and this other one kind of ties into it, but around like content payments and like getting models and agents to pay for using content, because a lot of the web uses Cloudflare for their CDN, right? So it's like if they can now take a tiny percentage of a transaction for an agent to access content through their CDN, I'm sure they think those like fractional pennies are going to be worth a lot, which it would be if you can convince enough people that agents should have to pay for their content, and you can get enough content providers to turn this on. That's going to be a significant
like let's say not web 3.0 money is not programmable in a way that is like this. So like there's probably so much overhead to give an agent your credit card and a lot of like hoops. But you could convert $1 into a stable coin and then give it to your agent, and then it's like, hey, go ahead. It's a lot more metadata in stable coins too. So this is a good idea. It's just weird coming from them, but it also makes sense. So Stripe and Shopify, or all the dudes will probably get into it.
Yeah. And last thing from Cloudflare, they did open source an AI vibe coding platform, Vibe SDK. So you can basically build your own, lovable replit. At least that's what they're advertising it as. Vercel has one too, right? So, it's Cloudflare and Vercel kind of go head to head. So if one does, one thing, you're going to usually see the other try to do something similar.
Yeah. And I believe Guillermo retweeted this saying, or their own thing, and called it like, oh, look at this Vibe SDK. So there's some drama for the episode today.
Yeah. So Cloudflare's making some moves. We mentioned this earlier, kind of in the same vein of talking about, Cloudflare. Netlify had a big launch yesterday.
NTL
What's
deploy. That's what the event was. NTL deploy.
Yeah. So that good to see that they're doing some more stuff around agents and agentic AI things. I don't know what did you see? I know the only thing that I know they released was the AI gateway, because we've been working with them a little bit. But what else did they launch?
They had the AI gateway, which is a gateway, but also they have a new feature called Agent Runners, which is pretty cool. Essentially, you can run agents on your Netlify projects and have it do things. So typical kind of thing, but makes sense.
And Dev, does this mean Vercel coins coming soon? Well, we're going to talk.
They already do.
Oh, really?
It's not a Vercel. It's not their own stable coin, but they do support a certain hex address that can then be used to exchange crypto or stable coins. So
I did not know that.
all this shit's related, man. They're all
Yeah.
just one-upping each other.
And yeah, but to talk about Vercel, Vercel has 0 config support for fast API. So basically you can run Python on Vercel is kind of what I gathered here. So Vercel's getting out of just the JavaScript, TypeScript game and the node runtime and allow you to run Python.
But have you met a Python dev? They're not going to use this shit, you know? Maybe they will. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
You know, there's a lot of people using Python for agents. So I guess Vercel is trying to capture that. And more, from Vercel, they announced their Series F, raised a ton of money. So they raised 300 million at a almost $10 billion valuation, 9.3 according to the blog post.
And a bunch of people about to get rich.
Yeah.
Through the tender offer. So if people don't know, once your company gets big, you can pay people out of their stock to then take it back, essentially buy it back essentially for other future rounds, or if you go public, you have more money in your company. So if you're early Vercel employee, you stuck around this long, it has been over 10 years, right? So we know some homies from Vercel that actually work at Mastra. You have this opportunity to make a pretty penny, and that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for the ecosystem, though, to have companies that get big and people that are along for the ride or at least contributed, can get some of the upside as well. So that's always good.
A lot of activity on YouTube today.
Yeah,
I like having y'all here.
Yeah, this is a lot of very active chat. So, So Khalil said had to use edge functions for AI before, wasn't that bad. Lauren says Cloudflare's AI gateway is nice. They use that a lot. Khalil said Mastro, make sure you never consider Python. Yeah,
Python pollution.
Yeah, we're doing this kind of video thing that hopefully we'll share soon, but. Avi made this comment that AI was polluted with Python, and that just resonated. Polluted with Python. And then Dev says, "I think this AI stuff will finally get me to write Python, so I get the feeling." You think so? My goal is to make sure you don't have to.
Yeah, the minute you have you do a pip install, you'll be like, never mind.
And so Dev says, which I'm curious if anyone else in the chat, you only one noticing that the video and audio is out of sync. And Manny says it just happened. So, what's going on? What's going on, Restream? Maybe they're using Python.
Dude, what if they're using Python?
Oh, Grayson. It's coming.
When will Mastra have a PHP version?
All right, we're going to... I think if I refresh, this thing will.
I don't know.
Maybe you should join quick.
My computer died.
No,
that's not good.
All right. Well, we're gonna try something. We might be right back. We'll see. We're back. Hopefully, you're all here. And hopefully let us know if the audio's back in sync. Hopefully everything is fixed now. Let's keep going. We have more news to talk about.
So much more news.
All right. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about OpenAI and Google, Microsoft. Dev says maybe it's vibe coded. Probably. It was probably the 90% of the code written by AI, All right, so we got some things from OpenAI, a whole bunch of things, because they were making moves as well.
This one, oh man.
All right, so let's first talk about
what's that Batman quote where it's you're the hero, but long enough to see yourself as the villain. Same kind of thing, long enough to sell ads.
Yeah. So now in preview, ChatGPT Pulse. This is a new experience where ChatGPT can proactively deliver personalized daily updates from your chats, feedback, and connected apps like your calendar. So first of all, this is actually a good idea because I've basically built this 5 different times with Mastra, with other tools, with Replit, just trying what would be there's some things I want to do every day. I want a simple one is just give me the top things from Hacker News that are based on my interests. Like that's like the very basic one. But I feel like if you can figure out a way to get your agent to reach out to you either on like a cadence or like when you need to, that can be a good thing. Now, I do think that that was kind of the thing is now it's proactively reaching out to you. It's going to start delivering ads too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've actually announced that, but it's got to be coming.
That's
right?
the fear mongering part of me.
Yeah, it's got to be coming. So Dev says, I've been using Pulse and I've enjoyed using it. There's no ads. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think there is. But I think it's just like, it's getting easier for them to reach out to you. And, if you're already paying for OpenAI or ChatGPT, like they're probably not going to give you ads, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like, they do have this free tier. And I wonder if there is a ad supported model that they're trying to work with at some point.
Swix was telling us in Paris that they're about to hit 1 billion users, right? That's a lot of ads if you think about it.
Yeah, and if you can, and if they can, I'm assuming most of those users are on their free tier, right? So how do you monetize that free tier?
Yeah.
Because compute, your inference isn't cheap, right?
Yeah. But this whole ambience or pulse type of thing is a good idea if anyone's building agent type of products. Because you don't necessarily need to rely on a user prompt for your agent to do things. You can assess the environment or assess like metadata that exists and then turn that into a prompt and have your agent act. Or you can, run your agent in a webhook handler. This is all the same type of stuff. Now, like you're integrating Google or Gmail and all these other products into ChatGPT. They're just doing API calls to see what happened, turn it into a prompt, and then give it to you. So,
all right, still on OpenAI. Last week they announced GDP Val, a new evaluation that measures AI on real-world economically valuable tasks. And they do have some, they kind of walk through what it is, but the thing that they probably did this on purpose, right? Like they were very intentional about this because they probably wanted to introduce a new eval that they can then win at. But most of the time, companies won't introduce a new eval unless they're the best at it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting that, Opus scored the best, right? So they're better than everyone else, but they're not in first, right? So I give them a little bit of credit for still releasing it.
Yeah.
Like they did this new eval. They were probably hoping they'd be first. They weren't. They still released it anyways. And then now they're going to, basically try to hill climb this eval to be the top, right?
The way they're spinning it though is that they got to the second place way fast. Like how they got there in such a short time. So it's like, oh, imagine if they had more time, they're going to be number one. That's how you kind of market these things, which is cool.
Yeah. But good to see that, they are willing to not just paint themselves as first all the time. So I like to see that. And continuing on with OpenAI, and this is, kind of tied to some of the agentic payment stuff with Stripe and all that, but Shopify merchants will now be able to sell directly in ChatGPT. And as Dev predicted, or maybe said, with a commerce protocol, it'll probably start recommending products. Probably. I think it makes a lot of sense, right? But here's the thing. Well, let's think about that. If it recommends a product I actually want because it really knows me, is that even an ad? I mean,
someone's getting a kickback.
But is it really an ad? I mean,
I'm gonna buy it.
If I want, it's kind of scary too because it's gonna know, especially if you've spent tons of time like chatting with through hundreds of threads.
Yep.
It's gonna know what you like, what you don't like, what you struggle with, what your personal ambitions. It's gonna be this is gonna be the best ad recommendation or product recommendation platform probably ever created, right?
It's so personalized.
Yeah.
And then Pulse comes in and said, "Hey, you forgot to buy your mom a birthday gift."
Yeah, and here's a one click of what we think your mom would like based on all the times you complained about your mom. So, I mean, we're probably a ways away from it being really good, but it is going. I gotta imagine, like TikTok is. I don't use TikTok, but from everything that I've seen, like that's where people like they basically the product recommendations on TikTok are very good, right? Because they know the types of videos you watch and they have very good tracking, so they can recommend products that you will really like. And this is going to be probably as good, probably even better.
Yeah, because like in TikTok and stuff, it's all like them kind of inferring based on your actions. But in the chat, you're just telling ChatGPT what you're interested in. So it's pretty cool, actually.
This is funny, Dev. I just want Alexa powered by LLMs. Yeah, why is that so hard? Why has, what? So someone joked that like, why isn't Siri doing this? But then people that have actually used Apple's LLMs, like if you get into like actually the model, it's not as bad. Like Siri's not using it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you just let Siri use it, and there's probably some liability things they don't want to do or whatever, but yeah, can we just get Alexa or Siri to
Alexa, powered by Bedrock.
Yeah.
Using Agent Core and Strands and everything else there.
Yeah. Anyways, it is definitely something that I wish we had. But with Shopify merchants being able to sell directly on ChatGPT, we are going to get some product recommendations. And
do you think they'll partner with Claude in them? Or is it mainly more like ChatGPT is more like consumer-y, and then Claude is more like developer-y?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to pick one, pick the one with 1 billion users.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It kind of dwarfs all the others, but I imagine that they eventually would work with all providers. Why not? Why would they just pick one provider? Any LLM that wants to sell, they'll probably have some kind of, MCP basically that just lets you get product recommendations and do sales. And Dev says there's actually a new version of Alexa called Alexa Plus, but it sucks. It has no MCP.
It has no MCP. Oh man, exactly the opposite of what he wanted.
And Brad thinks that this will eventually be 1/3 of OpenAI's revenue. Yeah. All right, we'll keep going. That's enough of OpenAI.
Well, dude, there's a big OpenAI thing.
One more.
Probably the biggest one.
Yeah, we can't miss this one. Sorry. We're not. There's a better.
Yeah.
Why don't you announce it? I'll find it.
So Sora 2 came out and broke the internet. You have people saying it's going to create dystopian future for everyone because you don't know what's real. Then you also have the other side saying, we're like corrupting our youth because now people are just going to doom scroll Sora. Then you have also people saying, hey, like, how could this be legal? Like, there's Dragon Ball Z characters fighting One Punch Man. What about the copyrights and stuff? And then you have Sam Altman all over the timeline. It's not really him, but he's stealing stuff and, in a toilet and all that type of
playing
stuff.
Basketball against Dave.
With Dave, yeah.
So let's take a look at the video.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've all seen it, but let's watch it. The actual video.
It looks pretty real to me.
花火、綺麗だね。でも僕たちは少しずつ離れていく。
Ready when you are. 3, 2, 1, go! Dude, you alright?
I'm good.
You might
Yeah.
this one.
Whoa, steady! Damn it!
So that wasn't the one I was thinking of, but I think you've probably all seen some of the videos. It is, I don't know. I found myself on X and I can't stop watching them. Like I've seen them and like, this is fake, but it still doesn't quite register because it is. And there's almost like, it's still uncanny valley in most cases. You can still kind of tell, but it is very difficult to tell. Right. And especially if they do a little editing after, it's almost impossible because you can clip out some of the stuff that like starts to feel not real.
Yeah.
But it's crazy good. And I do think that it is, I do think people are going to spend a lot of time just watching these dumb videos. And then like, what are we doing with our time if that's over? But it is kind of like the artist in me, like the creator in me, like I'm a musician. It's like you can create some really cool stories. It's a really cool storytelling tool. So I see both sides of like, I don't know if it's good or not for society as a whole, but it is pretty wild.
Did you get access to it?
I do have access to it. I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, I did yesterday. Let's do a demo.
Do you have it?
My computer's dead, but I do have access to it myself.
Yeah, we'll pull it up. Yeah, let's we'll do some Sora demos here at the end. We'll come back to Sora, and that's a good thing. Yeah, we'll do some demos. We'll see if we can get it to do some fun things. But like these kind of things are, they just continue to compound, right? It's like a little bit better. And I do wonder, like, how's it compared to Google's, right? Like I haven't compared them. Yeah, Veo 3, like Veo 3 was really good as well. I think this one seems like it does more cuts, which is actually probably better because it feels more like cinematic. But I've used Veo 3 a lot. Yeah. And I've had a lot of good success, like building some dumb Mastra ads with it and such, right? Yeah. So I will be interested to use Sora 2 and actually I saw
this tweet about like, okay, where does this go next if you're thinking like if you're thinking all the people are going to compete on this, so your Veo 3 will become Veo Tube, Sora will be Sora, and then Grok will make one, and then Vine will come back, and now you have the AI slop things.
And you also have this.
Oh yeah.
So Meta announced. So continuing on with the news, Alexander Wang at Meta now said, excited to share Vibes, a new feed in the Meta AI app for short form AI generated videos. And I believe it's powered with maybe some of the stuff from Midjourney, I think.
Using Sora under the hood.
Yeah, I don't know.
This one's.
But the idea is, what if you just had a social feed that was, you knew it was AI, you could put it in. So if you're watching this, I really want to know what you think of this. This is like exactly what we're talking about. Exactly what it is. Do you feel like it's better? I don't use really better, but I think you get the idea, right? What if, you just had a social feed that was just all AI, which is basically what X has become anyways. Yeah. This is all Sora. But I imagine it'll die down a little bit.
I like that, or I like the form of AI slop that is creative and not trying to mimic reality, but create like shit. But the ones that are like just face swapping or whatever, those are whack.
Yeah. So if you have tried it, looked at Vibes, curious what you think. Do you think that people will use things like this? Yeah. Dev says that TikTok and Insta will probably just build one of these into their app. Yeah, they definitely will. I think. I
think the theme of today is that when one big company does it, the rest will also do it.
Yeah, it's like you see one big company and then all of a sudden the next is pretty quick to follow. They're usually probably working on these things in parallel, right? They probably know what's coming. We're all colliding on the same path, right? Yep. Let's talk a little bit more about models.
And guys, we have a lot of news to go. So I mean,
we're getting there. We're getting there.
I mean, it's all good though. So please stick around.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got a copy of our book, I'll try to shill something too. Here's an ad for you. Get this book at mastra.ai/book.
Yeah. Yeah. There's our ad for the day. Mastra.ai/book.
But I'm recommending to you as a friend, not a company.
Yeah. So yeah, go get the book, Principles Building AI Agents. It's free. We'll even ship you a copy if you want it.
Yeah,
so
dude, it costs us more to ship it to you than it is worth, actually.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about Gemini. So Gemini Flash and Flash 2 Lite releases, or they have improved Gemini 2.5 Flash and Flashlight releases. And I guess the biggest takeaway here, just like a little bit better benchmark scores, a little faster response time. But I mean, it still impresses me that Google's kind of caught up quite a bit, because for a while there, it felt like Google was behind, and yeah, they're right in there. We always asked, for those of you new, like, who do you think is going to be the top model company as far as like most benchmark scores at the end of the year? Because that's kind of a fun topic. I think a lot of people think, especially like for coding, it's going to be Claude, and we're going to talk about Claude here in a little bit, or Anthropic, I guess. But OpenAI is making, that's obviously right there. Google's right there. You can't count Elon out, so XAI is right there.
The Chinese are coming.
The Chinese are right there. I mean, there's a ton, but it's kind of fun to think about. And I do just think over time, there's going to be so many good model providers that maybe there's certain things, like maybe coding Claude still ekes out a little bit better, or maybe there's writing that, one model or model for, but it'll be, Khalil's going to check the poly
Actually,
market.
I think Khalil, last time we asked this question, you said Google, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I wonder if you still believe that, if that's what you believe.
Dev says Google because they own the hardware. Yeah, that's not a bad guess. All right, well, let's keep going, and we're going to talk about Microsoft, or I guess GitHub, and GitHub's testing something. They wanted to throw their hat in the ring for their own CLI coding agent. So GitHub Copilot CLI is in public preview. So never gave it a try.
Wait, do you see this on the top right of like what their description is now? The AI-powered developer platform.
Whoa,
that's interesting. When did they make that change? Could have fooled me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were, just repositories, code repos. But no, I guess it makes sense. A lot of their money comes from Copilot now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much of it, but I bet you they think that they're going to make more money in AI than they do with the rest of their product. But there's a lot of these CLI tools for writing code, and there's another one. And this is, we have a few others, but let's get to the biggest one. This is the biggest release, I think. We've been kind of building up. And you all probably know what it is if you're a developer or an engineer. And it's Claude Sonnet 4.5, the best coding model in the world. So I am a big, I run Opus for everything. So, and I still think you have to talk to Claude Sonnet 4.5 different than Opus. So I still kind of like Opus better. But as far as like benchmarks, it's better, and it's cheaper, faster. There's like all these things. This one, 4.5 by far should be the best model, at least according to the benchmarks. What do you all think if you're watching this?
At the bar last night, I two-shotted this new thing I'm working on, and it was actually, I was very impressed. I had a very obscure task that I was trying to do, and I was using my background agents on my phone, and the plan it gave was exactly what I was thinking, and there were no like it just knew what I wanted to do. And now is like the first time I really ever had that experience with a model. That was tight. So it was dope.
Yeah. So
have you all tried it? Let us know.
They also updated the terminal interface. Looks a little more sleek.
Looks clean.
Yeah. And
I think the terminal UI got an upgrade, but also the plugin.
Yeah, the plugin in VS Code also looks a little better.
4.5 has the autistic feel.
That's funny.
What do you find artistic? I don't know.
Yeah. Lawrence says he thinks it's the best from a half day of playing around with it. All right, let's keep going. More with Anthropic. I thought this one was just, it was kind of tied to that release, but this was just pretty cool. It's a research preview called Imagine with Claude. So in this experiment, Claude generates software on the fly. No functionality is predetermined. No code is pre-written. So essentially, it just generates the UI in the software as it goes. And I have not tried it yet, but it's a cool idea. I don't think we're quite there where it's actually going to work. That's probably why they're calling it a research preview. But I could imagine a future where your software is just generated as you need it.
Yeah. Yeah, like you click a button and then bam, like this UI is just served to you, and then it just goes away.
And if it knows your preferences, it knows what you like, it'll probably generate UI based on how you like to interact.
Yeah. Seems like a waste of money though,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
Yeah. I don't really see how it works because I do think that there's just too many edge cases to really solve for today. Maybe in the future, but it is a cool concept. It's a cool idea of this like idea of generative UI. It sounds like the Cloudflare code mod thing. Yeah. It's like, why do you need it? But again, we just share the news and give our hot takes. And this was kind of a,
Drama.
you know, big. It's one of those big if true. I haven't confirmed it, but we're going to share it. Just why not? Let's see. Collapse that and share. So they said that basically Anthropic cut their Opus usage limits on their Max plan without telling anybody. And they basically said you should be using Sonnet 4.5 anyways. But they've really cut the cap. So if you've been using Opus on your Max plan, you might be running out of credits real quickly.
Yeah.
So Tyler on our team said that he was at like 75% after it just reset in just like a day or two. So yeah, if that is true, what are you doing, Anthropic? Come on, give people a little heads up. But this isn't the first time they did that. So
It's all about the money though.
yeah,
All about the Benjamins, baby.
Yeah, I mean they want to make money. All right, and we're going to skip that one because we just have too many to do. And we're going to talk a little bit about Cursor. Cursor released the ability to control your browser, which Windsurf had a long time ago, basically.
Yeah.
But now Cursor has it, which makes sense. Your agent can take screenshots, improve the UI, debug issues, and it's, in preview. So you can see.
I don't think Windsurf could do like the debugging and stuff, but
yeah, it was a little more limited, I think,
Yeah.
right?
But it's cool.
So I kind of expected that something like this would come sooner, but I think it's a good, once you can connect more tools to your agent, it's obviously going to be able to fix issues and actually get further than it did before.
Yeah, imagine doing like web performance, vibe fixing web performance, opening the browser, then looking at the network or the graphs. So that'd be cool.
And more fundraising news: Cerebras Systems raises 1.1 billion at an 8.1 billion valuation. That's some money. They're going to be they already have really fast inference, so make it even faster, I guess.
You know what's funny about this, like these raises, is I have a friend who works at a foundation model company, and he took some he took some tender. He got money now, and he wants to do more research. And if he wants to, like he said, the only way he would start a company himself is if his first fundraising is $1 billion. That's just what they expect, Like, I don't know.
I don't have my invite code to Sora. All right. I was going to try to get Sora up, but I don't know if I haven't used Sora yet, but I did get an invite code. So I'm trying to figure out where my invite code is. There it is. I don't know. Do I need the... So I'm going to see if I can get this. Oh, that's not right. That'd be a cool invite code, though. All right.
Oh, we're in now.
We're hopefully in. Welcome to us. All right, so let's share. We will see. We'll see what happens. All right, so I'm in Sora.
And Patrick, sir?
Oh, that's wild.
That was weird. But
If I hover.
Let's keep moving. If there's
I don't like that UX.
All right. Well, if you are watching this and you haven't seen Sora yet,
Give us some ideas.
yeah, give us some ideas. Let's do some things. All right, what should we build?
Oh wow, they have these cameos built in, so you can already pick Sama. That's funny.
Yeah, that makes it, and you can obviously add some things. So you can add images. All right, so
Do you have those images of us from the 70s or something from like a couple weeks ago?
I wouldn't know where to find them.
That's
but,
true.
But yes, I do have them.
What if we could like, a mascot? We could try that too.
Mascot for Mastra.
Which will just be us as 70s
Yeah,
characters.
Let me see if I can find those images. Like, give me a second.
It could be like it'll be us breakdancing or something.
I know I have this somewhere. I don't know if I ever downloaded them actually. But I can maybe do this. No. That's not gonna do it. This doesn't support. I can't just drag an image into here. That's
a bug.
Yeah, that's wild. And it doesn't really work. We're gonna try this. Try to refresh. The UI is now frozen on me. There's too much video going on at once. Sora can't support. Well, Sora is now completely frozen, so we'll give it a second. Mastra flag in the Eiffel Tower.
That'd be cool. Getting attacked by an invasive python sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, Sora is just like completely froze. Let's try reopening in a new tab here.
It had a JavaScript exception, probably.
All right, so I'm going to try to see if I can add the three of us.
Oh, you can only do one at a time.
One at a time. So I'll share my screen here. I'm just going to try to upload a couple images.
Oh, you can only have one base image, huh?
Yeah, let's...
You can use me as a guinea pig.
All right, we're going to try it out.
This is being chased by a python.
Man, their UI, like...
super slow.
Yeah. Let's just see. We'll just start there and see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. This maybe it's because I'm streaming it, but it is.
You got added to the queue. Oh, we can make multiple at a time then. Dude, what you should play play football with Sama. Put your picture in there if it loads.
Man, this is.
Oh, it's frozen again.
Yeah, page unresponsive.
That's not good.
Where? How do I see my queue? Where's my queue? Oh, this is so. All right.
I wonder if anyone else is having this problem.
Yeah, is this just me? Anyone else have access to Sora? Maybe that's right. Yeah, Dev says I thought Sora was only an app and not a desktop web. Well, I have it on the web. It had me go through. It basically asked me if I wanted, when I entered my invite code, it asked me if I wanted to upgrade to the new experience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and basically use Sora 2.
Water to wine.
Yeah, I don't know how to even get to my queue.
Maybe top left button.
Yeah, if I can get it to actually load.
Oh boy.
Let's stop sharing and see if that if I can actually get to refresh the page.
Oh, it went unresponsive again.
Yeah, exit page. Yeah, basically they
Just hella data, probably. I think that bubble thing to the left of it is your no. Oh, at least it's your profile in the bottom, or like the one above that thing. Oh my god!
So I got a message here. So for those of you wondering, we do not support uploads of images containing photorealistic people.
Well,
Yeah.
use
Okay.
the Ghibli version of me.
All right, let's do something just so we can get some.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to add your own cameo here. That's why.
There's the
So
iOS.
there's the iOS thing. If you want cameo creation, you need to use the iOS mobile app to create a cameo. That makes sense. So there's your answer, Dev.
And it froze again.
And it froze. Though desktop experience is real bad. Yeah, I think we just stop here.
Yeah, let's just stop there.
Yeah, it's
Too frustrating.
the desktop experience is no good. Brad says try Safari. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's what they tested in. I'll play around with it. We'll come up with some cool videos and we'll share it next week on the live stream. And yeah, that's all we really have for today. It's a big news day.
Tons of shit.
There's stuff we didn't even cover, so you probably saw even more that we couldn't get to it all. It's already been an hour and 20 minutes in. And we do this almost every week on Mondays, usually. This week's an exception. The last couple of weeks have been traveling. As we mentioned before, went to AI Engineer Paris. We've been hobbies in Sioux Falls, the real SF, as he likes to say. And we'll be in, I think next week, you might still be here on Monday. We'll see.
Yeah.
We might be doing it in person, or maybe you'll be at the airport at the time. We'll have to figure that out. But we do have some guests. So
tons of guests.
We have some guests coming on Monday, and we'll have a lot more guests in the future. If you know someone we should talk to, we like to bring on guests that are doing interesting things in the AI world, let them demo what they're doing, ask them questions, learn from them, because we like to talk about the news, of course, but we also like to learn from others. So
yeah,
let us know who we should bring on.
Also, we'll be in SF next week, the other SF, not Sioux Falls, but San Francisco. So if you're in SF, there's a bunch of events going on for Tech Week.
Yeah, we have a Mastra meetup on Thursday night.
The 9th.
Yeah.
996. 9 beers on the 9th at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So come hang out with us if you're in SF. But there's a bunch of other shit going on that week too for tech stuff. So see you there.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. Dev says get Paul from England. Yeah, we'll send us your guests, your best guests,
or come on yourself.
Or come on yourself. Yeah, we want guests. Thank you everyone for tuning in to AI Agents Hour. We'll be back again next week with some guests. We'll talk AI news. If you didn't get your book, mastra.ai/book. If you want to, you should go, give Mastra a star on GitHub if you have not already. Also follow Abby and me on X and other places. You can see our stuff there on the bottom.
Yeah. Peace.
See ya.